Okay, so if it doesn't work,
It's my
it's
fault.
not your fault. You've done your best. Ashley.
Rowena,
Hi. Sorry.
can you get some?
Yeah.
You'd like me? Yeah, firstly, thank you very much and welcome to the undertaking committee. The last one of 2024. The previous later up, this is Mrs. Hayward and Bill Chaffey, presenters with the award, which they've already done, which is John's got it at the end of the table there. You can show us. Which is the community award.
Oh.
And we'll give them the award there and welcome Mrs. Hayward to explain to us why we got it.
Yes. Stevie, would you like me to
Yeah,
stand
no,
up
you
or not?
stand or sit. It's entirely fine.
Okay, I'll stay seated if that's okay.
Yeah,
So yes, I'm Carol Hayward. I am the chairman of the Buckinghamshire Best Kept Village competition. And I only took over last week with no pressure at all with this. I've taken over from Bill Chappell, as Robin said, who's here with me. So it's a real pleasure to give you this award.
Oh, thank you.
This is the community award. You were in a group, the Michaelis Cup of Towns. I don't know how much detail you know. So you're in the towns category. You were just picked by Marlow, but you did score 190 out of 200, which was completely, it's just amazing. And it was such a good improvement on the last time you entered. I think that might have been last year, but I remember that it was a huge jump. So I led the team. I was the team leader then. There were 4 of us that judged all of the towns that entered. And as I said, we were really impressed with Buckingham. We were really impressed with the facilities. It was fantastic. But more than that, we were impressed with the community element of it, the way you demonstrated how the community involved all the different organisations and how they all came together with the aim of making Buckingham such a lovely town to live in. One of the judges, they gave one of the marks for the entry alone, for the competition entry, was brilliant. I mean, it was really good. I don't know what else to say about that. I remember that the bus stops were being washed when we came through. There was an artist who was painting the war memorial, the names on the war memorial. So we knew that it was being well looked after. So really, really well done.
Thank you.
Before presenting the certificate, I just have to mention our sponsors. We're sponsored by, in the main, Buckinghamshire Council, Milton Keynes Council as well, a group called RT Machinery that from Winchendon, Cloudy IT and the Buckingham Designer that do our website, the Audley Group, that's a retirement complex, and Mott's Travel. So actually, Mott's take us on the day when we do the tour and give our prizes out in September. So without all this support, we wouldn't function. So I'd like to also make a written record for my thanks to our judges. The judges are all volunteers. They give up their time freely, and they're excellent. Again, without them, we wouldn't have a competition. And also, we've got a fantastic administrator who, Nina, is not here, but she's been dealing with Clive Parker. I don't know how many people know him.
I know Clive very well.
Again, if he wasn't doing what he's doing, we wouldn't have a competition. And it's been going since 1957, so we have to keep it going. Have to keep it going. If anyone would like, a go at being a judge, that would be fantastic. Or if you know anyone that might be suitable, that would be marvellous. And now I present the certificate, which we have done and taken a photo for.
Could I say, yeah, I know Clive Parker for a great number of years. When I was on the Buckinghamshire County Council, Clive was senior officer on Buckinghamshire County Council in Democratic Services, and him and I often had conversations because that was the way of it. He was always a gentleman, first class, and a keen football player.
Yeah.
Would that be right?
He was, that's absolutely right, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Bill,
Yeah.
you anything that?
Anything to say? No, I mean, I I've been through all this, Carl's now taken it over. I'm standing down from the council next May. After being on the Bucks Council from the county through to the unitary for 48 years.
Gosh,
And I'm just think that it's time to go. Well, I can walk out. But I saw the score sheet and everything for Buckingham. You should be very proud of what you've done. And you know, when we go out judging, it's from 1st of June, I think.
Yeah, between the 1st of
second
June,
week of July.
yeah. July.
Very satisfying. You see some of the most beautiful villages in a matter of 2 or 3 days. So if you feel like it, please get in contact with. Some of us are getting old, and we need younger blood. So that's why I pass on to younger blood.
Yes.
Okay. You can see why I don't make speeches anymore. I just put my foot in many times, and wear it with pride.
Firstly, to thank you as well, Bill, for your service to this award and the time you've given to it for a number of years. It's been very great, but we have been privileged to have received it in the past, and we're privileged to receive it now. And I don't know whether Madam Mayor wishes to say anything additional on that.
I think it's a great privilege to receive this. I'm delighted that I happen to be in the position where I get to, hold it. And it's something to be really proud of. And I would very much like to thank our officers, particularly Nina, for the effort that's gone into it. Because this would, obviously it doesn't happen without the officers at your side or the administrators at your side. It doesn't happen without the officer time and the love that Nina's put into it on our side either. So that's.
I just want to add, actually, I don't know if you realise it's across the whole competition list. So that's out of 45 villages and towns that entered.
We will play that to the nth degree.
Saying it, yeah.
I think we really should mention our Green Spaces team in this. The hard work that they've put into everything, and the officers that were here in the build-up and left to go on to pastures new, as well as the ones that were around for actually putting the paperwork together and
I
submitting
think
it.
it would be accordant that we let them know. And Councillor Davis is our chair of the Environment Committee and has the biggest budget and the biggest responsibility. That's why she's very keen to speak up for her staff. But we are very honoured. Thank you very much for. Then you're very welcome to stay for the whole meeting. I'm sure Bill will enjoy it.
But I enjoy my doing it better.
Do you?
You need to clear. I
When I get it.
promised to look after him, so I've.
No,
Get him
give
home.
my love to Sue. And
I will do.
I hope you have an easier journey home than you did coming.
Well, I think we'll go a different route home.
We'll take care.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well done to all of you. It's
Look forward to
fantastic.
seeing you every year now on.
Yes. You need the top of the Michaelis couch, best cat next.
Yeah.
Can you have a presentation, please, so the mayor receives it, yeah?
We already have them,
have?
and we've got pictures of.
Oh, you.
Yeah. Do it again.
Round the table.
Yeah.
I'll sit back.
Let's do it again. Let's do it again. We've got one standing up against the wall with a chain and everything, so we will put this back in the right place for anybody who watches us on Zoom or on YouTube.
Yeah.
Or they can.
Thank you very much.
Very much.
Thank you.
Take care.
This time round, we're looking at our new award.
I hope to come back next year because you've won your category, as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be back next year.
Thank you, Chairman. We'll all look after the
Robin will
chairman.
do. Robin will do.
Take what we to do it.
You want to come out the campus for me now, you're free, Bill, in the election. You're very welcome to, I know you'd like to.
I think everybody knows you, Robin.
I'm joking.
But you might get it.
Cheers, Bill, you take care.
Thank you.
Thank
everybody.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't do a list crossing.
As the chairman, Barney Pretty said, I think it goes without saying that we wouldn't win these awards without, the staff we've got and dedication they put into it. So, it's, you know, say that, and I hope, can we, record those thanks that were made in the minutes, to everyone, so that it's there for posterity, I think. And we can add the names of the officers who worked in it, as they no longer work for us. I don't think that's an issue. We'll take advice on that, but I think it's important. Right, in which case we'll move forward to the agenda, which is apologies for absence. No apologies, okay. Decorations for interest items on the agenda, which of course everyone does decorations interest. Is any particular outside those decorations? I know members will either declare it now or declare it upon the item. And the minutes of the last meeting, we'd like to take a little look at those before we agree them.
I'm happy with them.
You're happy? Is that seconded?
Yeah.
Seconded, okay, vote on that and agree with the minutes then. Thank you. In which case we move on to markets, which is under the town clerk here, kindly come to give us an update.
My recommendation is that we withhold the price on the street market. This is, sorry, the price of the pitch on the street market. This is because I know that our traders aren't getting a huge amount of money. It's difficult for them to survive the current climate. The market is thriving. It's a public service as much as a means of making money, and therefore I recommend that we hold the price where it is. However, I am going to suggest that we add £1 to the price of a flea market pitch. That would seem to be reasonable and affordable and in line with our nearest neighbours, how their pricing goes. And this has been, this recommendation comes after quite a long consultation with Russell, who's obviously waters and speaks to the traders all of the time. So this is kind of within our suggestions.
Councillor Draper.
I think it sounds very sensible. I propose we agree with the recommendations. Yeah, happy with that.
Yeah.
Do we have a vote on that?
Does it need to be seconded? Oh, sorry. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, vote on that. I think because of, with agreement of the committee, because of the economic times that we're in, I think at the appropriate time in the year we'll make a press release that we've kept it down for the very reasons that the report suggests, to show that that's why we've done it and that's what we're doing to try and support the trade in the town centre, which will help our town centre manager in discussions. It will also help our marketing manager in their discussions, to see that we listened to the reports, we took the decisions based on the evidence, and we moved thereafter. Would that agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Right, in which case we move on to the next item on the agenda, which is updates and members and representatives from outside bodies or councils. Have you got anything you need to add in here?
Not that is relevant to this committee, no.
Just from my own point of view, noting the item 6, I have put in a written question around the condition of the parking meters, because there's been things said which are unclear. I think we need to know from the cabinet member what exactly is planned in respect to the parking meters, because I think we can all say we've probably all received a fair portion of negativity and criticism and this, and it's very difficult to continue explaining to residents about that. Now that will come out then, and I think with I propose with at some point we do an agenda item on this to discuss it, because it's not thought it is going to affect the viability of the town centre. So I'd like to propose that at some point we do that, put that on a future agenda to discuss the outcome of it. One of them, because otherwise we're being negligent. Is that a general feeling here?
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. In which case, let it out. I'd lot more to tell you, but nothing to do with this business responsibilities. I need to say that we'll move on to item 6, which Councillor John Harvey has put a motion on there. Would you like to present your motion, John?
Yeah, obviously I won't read it out because we've not read it there. I mean, the issue is that the.
It's worth reading it for the.
Yeah, can you please read it, John?
Oh, okay, all right.
Because we've got it, but the people,
Well, they would have it on the agenda if they.
yeah, but they might not have
Okay,
it.
fine.
And it's important you put the motion together, you read it out if you're able to. I'm sure you are.
Yes,
With poetry and all that, I'm sure you could read anything.
I'll do it as a poetry.
In iambic pentameter.
Okay, this council already supports the partnership with the local and loyal Royal British Legion branch in order to help organise the annual remembrance parade with road closures, etc. Currently, the local branch is in a process of reforming. New offices of the branch need to be found. However, it is reasonably possible that the town council may need to step in next year. I think this year's parade has already been mostly set up and it's already happened, of course, it's a while ago, to take a more of a lead role. As a consequence, this council resolves to ask the clerk to prepare a budget for this role, including monies for a marching band, the whole of the basically, cost, the road closures, and some hours for a part-time officer to make all the necessary arrangements and to return to a future full council meeting for the budget or with the budget to be signed off and added into the precept. So that's the motion. Basically what we're saying is there is a reasonable chance, because it could go either way. Let's hope it does go the way it has done in the past, that people are found. And the local branch of the organisation is returned to full functioning, but on the basis that it might not be. And I think it's important that the town council does step in. I know we already do a lot anyway, but I think we need to be prepared to step in and do more. And I'm also concerned that if that were to be the case, that I don't think the town council would be doing that without a proper budget to do it. Because there will be monies required for the budget, and there will be monies required for other parts of it. Now, it may be possible to reclaim that, it may not be, from some of the monies currently held by the county Royal British Legion or the local branch. If that's possible, that's great, but again, there's a great chance it may not be. So I think it would be right and proper for us to actually have a budget. I know there are different views about this. I know there is a view that if we do this, that can take pressure, as it were, off local branch members, and they might step back and say, okay, fine, the town council doing it, we'll step back and let them do it. My view is this is simply about managing the future. We don't know what the future holds. I would absolutely 100% support the local branch being reformed and carrying on the way that it always has done. But I think it's, as I said before, it's reasonably possible that that won't happen. And therefore, I think we have to be prepared for that eventuality, because if we're not prepared, then the whole thing, I don't know, it won't fall apart because something will happen, but it wouldn't happen the way that I feel around here we want it to happen. So that's the point of the motion, to, let's say, let's look at the budget, and then we can decide that or not at that time. But at the very least, we ought to have some knowledge of what would be required to do this, mainly for the town.
Thank you.
That's the basis.
Thank you very much, John. Councillor Davies, you put your hand up there.
Thank you for this, John. It's obviously something that we do need to look at, any costs involved for it. My understanding is that a remembrance parade is a civic service or a civic occasion anyway, and as such, the normal thing is that a town or parish council would be the organisers of it, put out all the invitations, etc. That's my understanding. I know that in Buckingham for quite a few years, the British Legion have set in the lead on it. Obviously, the town council wouldn't want to be stepping on anybody's toes, particularly people who have dedicated themselves to serving and whatever, and also the members of the British Legion. However, like it is my understanding that it should be a civic occasion anyway.
Thank you, Lucy.
And yeah, just to kind of echo what Councillor Davis said, I think it would be good to have it being a civic event, but also the consistency then of town council organising it, knowing what's going to happen with it. The Royal British Legion, in whatever format they're in, having obviously some input and involvement. This wouldn't, the way I would see it would be not that it's the town council exclusively managing it, but rather doing the organisation and then liaising with other people or other kind of participants.
Rabina.
I just wanted to clarify, so are we talking about a type of contingency plan if, you know, the British Legion can't be doing it again? Or so are we waiting to hear back from them whether they're going to go in which direction over the coming year?
Would that be good before John comes back, until we come back, we'll tell us what she knows on where we are with this. That's possible.
Well, there's two separate issues here. The town council and the Royal British Legion do have an agreement signed as to who organises and how the parade is organised. So that's not, it's not just that it's something that's above the law of the way. There is an actual agreement there. If we were looking to come out of that agreement and take control, and the Legion still existed, then I think that's something that would require a further report and greater discussion. And it isn't, as I understand it, in the scope of John's motion. At the moment, John's motion is if there isn't a Legion, then we should be prepared to go further. My views on it, I have the budget is further down to discuss later. I have budgeted for the cost for the marching band, the road closures. We will be able to find time for an officer to make necessary arrangements. I have, however, only budgeted for half the cost of the display screen. My understanding is that there is no reason we wouldn't be able to claim the other half of the costs through the county association, even if there isn't a local branch. And I would suggest that that money is there. It was a reasonable thing, and I would expect that the county association, I would hope that the county association would take that request. If it doesn't, we do have contingencies budget for contingencies if something goes wrong that's unexpected. Obviously, if we budget for the whole amount, I can't really go and ask for the grant because we have already budgeted.
John, you want to come back?
Yeah, just to come back to you first, Rabina. I don't know what the current state is as of tonight. But the current state that was happening 2 weeks ago when they held an emergency meeting in the room next door was that they didn't have any officers.
Right.
For them to be a fully functioning branch, they have to have 6 named people who are prepared to be part of proper governance of a significant organisation that not only, organises things like a parade, but also, perhaps more importantly, will support and care for British Legion members in the community and visit them at home, maybe provide them with grants. I'm not sure all the details, obviously. At that time, they did not have 6 people. The county officers who were there said that if they could get somebody, 6 names by the end of January, who are all committed, then the branch could in a sense regenerate itself with those 6 new officers. And I don't know, they've got another 2.5 months to do that. I really don't know what things are at. There are 2 other options. Option A, if you like, is the branch closed completely, because there's nobody involved who's prepared to, put their names forward to be in any way even a contact. And at that point, the branch then, in a sense, members become part of the county organisation, and Buckingham itself loses its standard flag. The holding pattern is that they can find two people to act as contacts and just to keep things ticking over. Then the local branch can retain its standard, but obviously with two people, there won't be much they'll be able to do.
Yeah.
I don't know where on those options, A, B, or C, 6, 2, or none, where they'll end up by the end of January. The idea of this is that we will be there in case they don't end up with a viable functioning unit. So that's where things are at. I like the idea that we will be able to claim off the county. If the town clerk is competent of that, then fine. I don't know how that works. I know there have been financial difficulties because the local branch was left a considerable sum of money in somebody's will. And that money's now gone into a special county-wide fund to which they have to apply. And there was some rank, shall we say, about that process. And that's one of the reasons why some members have stepped back, because they are fed up about that arrangement. That said, the Royal British Legion is a large organisation. It has to organise itself properly. It has to have good governance. People have to be DBS checked and know about, lone worker policies and everything else. That's an important part of how it has to function. This is not a takeover bid in any shape or form. This is trying to support something that's important to the community. We just heard how important the community is in Buckingham. And although the service itself is something that we don't have to have any hand in at all, because it is a church service. And that is what happens in many places. They simply have the church service. The whole parade business takes a lot more organisation. You've got to get people there, you've got to get a marching band, blah, 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 and all that takes some time to organise, as well as all the road closures that go along with that. So, yes, it's a civic occasion. There's not a requirement on us. We're not, it's not in our statute that we have to do it. It's something that a lot of parish and town councils do, but they're not required to. There's nothing that we need to do. But we can choose to do it, and the way for choosing to do that is to pass this motion tonight. So that we can be there if the Royal British Legion isn't able to do what it's done in the past.
I'm fully on board with this position because I feel it's an integral part of our town and our calendar, and obviously to pay respects on Remembrance Day. So fully support it.
Ravina, are you going to second the motion?
Yeah, I'll second.
Right, that means that then motion seconded, just bring some facts to the table. If you look in your budget, John, so that you understand explanation of what the town.
It's already been done.
It's covered in the budgets of this meeting, which you wouldn't know when you put the motion together. Do you feel that budget supports the intentions of your motion?
Well, except it does say the holder of the display screen cost, we would need to amend that. If that is the case.
But I feel that, do you feel that you'd accept that in this budget, the officers have covered under 4207, a majority of what you're requesting in that, which is a adequate parade cost and reserves.
Yes, so I'm not going to withdraw the motion. I think the motion.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying. It's not asking to withdraw.
I still think we need to.
No, I think exactly. I'm just saying for information so that you're aware of this when we vote. And Councillor Davis.
I'm like John wants to withdraw the motion, but if it's already budgeted for and it's already in there, is the motion necessary? Was my question really. Also, having had some contact myself with the county British Legion over the last few weeks, with the property appeal, they were very clear in the conversations I had with them that there's three separate things. One is the property appeal, second is the Remembrance Day parade, and the third one is the branch. And I think we need to make sure that we're not conflating and trying to mix together those things.
Yeah, I mean, from the chair, I don't think the proposer's trying to conflate anything.
No,
I think he's
at all.
trying to, he's worried about something, he put a motion into the committee, and the town clerk has acted separately to that, aware of what she would do, which is the situation which is ongoing. So I think if we can vote on the motion, as anyone's going to additional say, unless the town clerk's got something.
At the moment, the motion will require, as it stands, will require the budget to be changed. So may I just suggest there are two options: either the motion is passed as it stands, but there's not two options you can vote for.
Yeah.
Reading the room, it sounds like there's two potential options. The motion passed as it stands, and I need the budget to add in the cost of the full screen, or the motion is amended to remove the words "the whole of the display screen" and replace it with "half the cost of the display screen."
Can I propose that amendment?
I'll second it.
Okay, that's an amendment?
So that's an amendment, so
I'll
vote
second.
on the
Yeah.
amendment.
So we don't have votes in it.
So in which case, we'll vote on the motion amended as,
Yeah, you need to vote on the amendment.
No, we don't. Not if I accept it and the second accepts it.
Yeah, I
That's
accept
understanding orders, we don't need to vote on it. Not understanding orders, we don't.
Do you?
I'm being understanding.
Do you?
John, we do usually a vote on the amendment.
I appreciate that, but we don't have to. In the standing orders, if we accept the amendment, proposer and seconder, it becomes part of the substantive
okay,
motion.
which
It does
case,
not need to be.
let's
voted on.
just, we're going to get to the same point, John. So let's vote on the amendment, which is motion amended. Okay, so all those in favour? Okay, those against?
I'm abstaining because we don't need to do this. I know our standing orders.
Okay, totally respect what you're saying. I'm just trying to move the meeting forward. I'm not disagreeing with you. Thank you. In which case, I think that's, then we just record a thanks for John being.
Yeah.
Okay, right, yeah, sorry. All these standing orders in motion, that's it, we've done that. Okay, we're ready. John, no, that's it. Okay, that's marvellous, we've got to item 7.
Oh.
Probably isn't on
Item 7, right,
there.
item 7. We can bring us out, give back to item 7, the recommendation of the town centre manager and what we need to do on that.
So this is about the there's some funding left over from the town centre regeneration project, which was money that's from community board, that which involved the town centre study with businesses and residents. That one was fed into the neighbourhood plan. There's funding left over which needs to be spent before the end of March, and the quick wins did go to full council. It's been moved to TCNE because the recommendation of what we realistically could spend money on is events marketing. So there's some ideas there to rebrand their marketing material, which we currently have at the TIC, and update the new QR codes, stickers, the old probably modern ones, update those. We can also have like a piece of public art as well, which would be not temporary, permanent. So yeah, the recommendations are that we spend that leftover money on those items, and also create a group as well, so we can just go through the plans in greater detail.
Thank you. Well, firstly, thank you for the report. Councillor Davis and first.
Thank you so much for this. It's obviously been quite a bit of work gone into it. I absolutely agree with the way to spend it. However, I'm just wondering why it's going to cost £1,000 to get new QR stickers.
They are, obviously, when you ask the companies for like quotes, it's always quite difficult to get rough quotes unless, you know exactly like how many you need, and what the design might look like, when you might want them. So that's just a rough guideline. These are all rough guidelines.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many stickers would that
So
be?
there's,
I'm really sorry to interrupt, but it's a little bit on fail, so I'm
Yeah.
going to be very
Okay.
hot and I put those
Sorry.
numbers in.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Go on.
yeah.
Okay, well, just give us the detail on QR codes that we can move to the next bit.
We don't have a lot of detail at the moment. I'm putting some very rough ballpark figures in because the agenda needed to go out and we need to have.
It just seems like quite a lot of money for,
If we get them done decently with reasonable quality and some nice design around it, up to, I think.
Thank you, and thank you, Lucy, John, and then.
What sort of public art piece are we talking about? Is it going to be like a sculpture or mural or?
So I was looking at a local artist, that does mosaic murals.
Amazing.
So it would be, you know, permanent.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's done quite a lot. She's very local.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Cool. Sounds great.
John?
Yeah, I think we're jumping ahead because the recommendation is to have a task force group to examine this in more detail than we're going to do tonight. So getting into, whilst these are interesting questions about the nature of the art and how much QR codes actually cost, that's surely a decision or a discussion to have at the meeting. And my proposal is that we make that meeting inclusive of people that we know would have an interest in regeneration in the town centre. I can think of 1 or 2 people that would be good to invite along.
Yeah, but it was allocated to the committee, not to the subgroup, so.
Well, I think
I think.
regeneration, sorry, can I finish, Chair? Is that possible?
Yeah.
I think it's important that regeneration is an open thing, that we actually take contributions and ideas from the wider, certainly the business community, and maybe the wider community as well. And that we look to involve them in at least a preliminary meeting to see what ideas they might have that they think would actually help regenerate the town centre. Because there are lots and lots of ideas around and so forth. And I think the idea of having a task and village group to make a decision, and we can make it so that councillors still the ones that actually make the final votes. But hell, why aren't there people in this discussion? That would seem to make sense to me. We're not the fountains of all wisdom here of regeneration.
No, John, we're not. Just that we do employ town centre manager and we'll work through it. And we'll make that decision later. And then I'll go back to.
I think, you know, just in response, there has obviously already been a lot of work done in this study, so I wonder whether we would be duplicating that work, and also how, since we need to spend the money by March 25, whether we would be doing the work that has already, or surfacing the same issues and delaying it. So that's my, otherwise I have no particular objections to this. I also note that in response to an earlier question on the budgets, that one of the recommendations is that we allow a certain amount of flexibility in terms of the costing there, which does seem absolutely sensible. Just a tiny little question. What is a standby float?
Just miscellaneous items. Just,
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay, so a trolley with bits in it, yeah, okay.
I've got some questions for Councillor Davis.
I was pretty much going to say what Anya just said, that this is the end of the consultation that was done by Bucks Council into, so all that input has already gone into it.
Yeah.
So this is the final part of it. We've got 4.5 months to actually make the decisions to spend the money. I think involving it will end up with a chapter designed by committee, won't we?
Well, marketing events was one of the not issues, but you know, something that local businesses mentioned that they want to see more of. They'd like to see, you know, the town being promoted more. So that was
Yes.
one of their priorities.
Yes.
Yeah, one, just question here, and it might be easily answered, is the concern I have, from an ownership point of view, not from using the money. We have, throughout all these things that we're spending additional on our town council projects with thousands of pounds invested in them over a long period of time. What I do worry about is that we'll be asked to actually rebrand them as Buckinghamshire Council. And if they actually funded them, because though they're actually upgrading them, there is a danger that it would give the impression that those things were funded wholly by Buckinghamshire Council when they're updates and refreshes. Now, I'm not sure where we go on that, where we just wait and see what happens. Hopefully there'll be the art project, there's absolutely no problem with them if that's what comes out and we do the art project for £4,500, absolutely no problem with that being signposted and funded from the community board, it would be appropriate. But the QR stickers and the shop stuff is stuff that been worked on by the town centre manager already, and we're just updating them. It would be quite strange for Buckinghamshire Council then to say that they'd actually done all that work when it's looked at. There could be some out of conversation about it. You have to say these things now, rather than find out further down the line that, well, why are we doing that? And then there's a difficult conversation. So I think doing all those things updated there, I think my view would be that all those should stay branded as town council, and the public art would be naturally, as a standalone project, would naturally you signpost that as funded by the community board, because we wouldn't be doing it if we hadn't had the money for it. But the other thing, we would just carry on with what we've got, but we're upgrading them, which is quite slightly different in biddable terms of what we're getting the money for. Am I miles different to other people's point of view? If I am, please correct me. Do other people feel that's a reasonable suggestion?
I feel that's very reasonable, but I have a question for you, Chair. Are you going to charge to be in the promotional video?
We couldn't afford him.
I don't think, I haven't done a promotional video already this month. I think that's probably enough for the whole United Kingdom for a long time. It's nothing to do with politics and
Okay.
so it was to do with community projects. So sure they enjoyed filming that. And but no, I definitely won't charge. I talk freely and happily and for any amount of time anyone's willing to listen, so I don't think I'll charge. Is there anything additional on the report, noting John's view that it should be delayed? Is there a show of hands on whether John's views is going to be seconded to take it away?
Sorry, can I not have words put in my mouth, Chair? Point of order. I did not ask for it to be delayed.
No, sorry, I didn't mean delayed, it's the wrong word.
I simply asked for, when the meeting occurs, that we invite one or two other people who we know understand the town as well as we do to give their input. That's all I'm asking for.
Well,
I'm not asking for any delay.
No, it's not meant by that. Well, I'm sure that the town centre manager who already does that will already be talking to people who would be saying in a day's job. So I think I would say comfortable here that conversation will go on. I'm absolutely sure that any suggestions of people which should be included in that conversation, which you think are appropriate, should be added into the conversation. But I also feel, unless I'm not reading the room very well, that the mood is to move on, agree, and take on board the concerns expressed and allow as much time as possible to get this money spent in Buckingham. Am I wrong in that? No. Andy?
May I would like to propose that we accept the recommendation.
Yes,
I'll
second.
second.
Favour?
Yeah.
Thank you. Right,
Thank you for your work on it as well, Sam and Claire.
I'm abstaining, Chair.
okay,
Yeah.
one abstention. But you still will take on board.
Absolutely.
Right, item 8, budgets. If you go to the budget in item 8, you will see, we'll get back to that part of the agenda. The first part of the budget is this year's budget, which you'll see there's some changes and some additions. Has anybody got any? You'll see there's some useful comments in red, explanations around the expenditure, how far we've got through the year spending them. And you look at the top end of it, more income in anticipated and comments like that around different events. You go down, you'll see there's comments around more income anticipated or whatever, but these comments are made in their budget. If you look at the budget as a whole, that's last year's budget, that most of it we came in well within expenditure, and we've still not got some of our biggest events, the Christmas parade, which you'll notice we budgeted £5,200 to cover the whole cost of the parade, including our sections of it, the legal cost of road closures and everything else, which got quite difficult last year. People thought that was all the money that went to the parade, but it wasn't. And you'll see that there was a budget last year, remembrance parade and so on, and the different events went. Are there any questions on that?
Just a comment that it's really good to see the income from the dog show was over double what we were expecting. So I think that's thanks a lot for that, Sam, because I know that was your magic went into that one.
This just a matter of fact, this budget remains ours to the end of the financial year, and we won't be meeting again until till after precept, which is unfortunate. That budget still remains ours to make decisions upon until such that time, even if we've agreed a new precept budget. So if we need to consider any of that budget, we'll be putting something on the joint agenda then after. John.
Yeah, just to clarify, but I mean, reading through the last column, the reason and so on, and most of it is holding or small increase, 3.5%. When there are,
we're not on that. Are you on the second budget? We're on last year's budget, which is.
Oh, sorry. When you right, okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah. Sorry.
Appendix A.
Appendix A. The reason I was saying what I was doing because we own that money at the committee. It's our money to the end of 31st of March. So it could be that we'll in agreeing this budget, do we agree to propose that we bring this back to us at the next meeting to see what underspends there are, to discuss whether there's any contribution to that agree? That's seconded. And is seconding that. All those in favour? Thank you. In which case, John, we'll move on to B, and you go first.
Yeah, just to say, I mean, I've looked at the last column prepared by the town clerk, and there are some significant increases there, but most are simply held. Maybe it's because of the 105,000 more salaries and so forth. A couple of points. One is it all adds up to a 5.63% increase, and I can't quite see where that comes from. We should know from the town clerk. It was about doing this, do wibbly thumbs in the spreadsheet. I don't know.
But when you speak to
and secondly, does it take into account the Chancellor of the Exchequer's increase in national insurance?
Well, all those things, I won't speak to town clerk, but we don't know, and I think she'll tell you we don't know what that alleged increase is. We don't know, and we won't know exactly what the budget in for staffing costs, and we don't discuss staffing costs here. We discussed that in resources committee, but the town clerk differs with me on that. I'm happy for her to tell me I'm wrong.
No, as you said, Chair, I will be putting forward policies on staffing costs for changes of what we might want to do in the future. So at the moment, I put a holding figure of 5% in there, just because it's rough a ballpark figure to start with, and without some sort of a holding figure, the rest of the budget doesn't really make much sense. It is a huge chunk, wages is a massive chunk of this budget, and that's why that's quite an impact on the overall. Every budget line we've been through, we've looked at what's spent this year. Where we can, we've spoken to suppliers, where we can recommend it be held because I'm uncomfortable we have, where we think it's still rises. So at no point have I done a blanket, we'll just put it up by about 4%, because that's my guess of what inflation will be next year. I've literally gone through every single line and had and looked at them all individually. But yeah, the wages does skew it, but that will all have to go through resources.
Just to respond to that, if I may, Chair. Yeah, I get that, understood that, but given that that's a 5% increase, and the other increases described to be less than 5%, some not at all, how do we end up with 5.63% increase?
Because there are some places where we have had slightly larger increases. I'm not expecting, for instance, that the markets are going to make a huge amount of income, so that's held, so that's an income that we would have expected if everything had gone up.
In defence of the town clerk, you will realise that this committee takes in income of £22,000 in income against this, which is the market which we run in this. So even though that's 5% increase, that includes the fact that we actually are taking in money to the council, which benefits the entire council in that budget line. So, and also some of the things you will be aware of when it comes to doing stuff like Christmas lights, they put their costs up as well, John. And we even go in zero line budgeting where we continue to reduce the budget till we've got no money at all. We put increases in to be able to sustain where we are. I think the budgets that the town clerk's put in are reasonable. I think what we will discuss in the resources committee, the staffing costs, because it's the appropriate place to discuss it. But the budget, as we decided some time ago, through the care resources and other people, we would budget those costs within the committees. And if we hadn't got those costs in here, we'd look like we had a very small budget. Because otherwise all those budgets are in this resources committee's budget, and it makes it look like the resources committee is very expensive. And it's the environment committee and the planning committee all have their staffing costs put through them. So let's discuss the staffing costs in the resources committee. I would say that I think they've done a very good job at getting to where they got to with auditing. I don't think there's anything extravagant in there, in my opinion. And this is the one committee the town council gets to see its face through the work of the officers and the members who support all these events and who take a lead on these events. And without that, we wouldn't succeed. So I'm happy with the chairman proposed we accept the budget.
Yeah.
And that's seconded in several places. So which one? Ravina seconding, and those in favour? Thank you. The next item, I think we do need some guidance on and discussion, because it's something that came up in events that we've discussed. This is here to actually help us clarify those discussions around charitable collections, but I do believe it's the Deputy Town Clerk's report. So do you want to guide us through it? So
yeah, this got overly complicated really. So I've had lots of emails with the licensing department, and essentially because we collect on behalf of other charities, it becomes very complicated. We can't apply for a permit. A charity has to apply directly, and Mayor's Charity is not a direct applicant. So there is no such thing as a permanent permit. You have to apply for each and every event. So we don't qualify on the basis that it's the Mayor's Charity, is not a direct report. Now, the only provision outside of that is they kind of do a waiver on application for festive, cultural or national campaigns, but it's by application, it is not a guarantee. So we are currently trying to see if we can get a permit, for example, for the light switch on the 28th. But to be able to do that, there's a number of hoops we have to jump through, and that is we need to get letters directly from the Mayor's Charities saying that we can collect on their behalf and then submit them along with our public liability insurance, which we've started. We're waiting for those letters to come in. I guess what I'm saying is it's not as straightforward as we may have thought it was. But it doesn't mean that on an individual basis, we couldn't make an application with no guarantee of it being granted, because it has to be granted by the licensing team. We just need to be aware of the time that that will take. It isn't going to be a short job, so we need to, now we know the process, we need to plan in advance for that.
Thank you. I mean, it's now talking to me. If you look at the streets policy that they've got in the link, it does look like be under the Local Government 1972 licensing act, so it does look rather like a sledgehammer, and it does look rather, I'm sure it's legal, but it looks rather worldly, especially as we've been merrily carrying on if we were able to do these things in the past. Councillor David.
Thank you for your work on this, Les. It was something that came up at Bandjam, and it was like, we normally do that, don't we? So presumably, once we've had one letter from the Mayor's Charities, that will cover every application. So getting that letter.
But we need to be aware it is only for festive, cultural or national campaigns.
Okay, well, Bandjam's cultural, isn't it?
Yeah. I think we'll be okay on that.
We define it.
Culture.
And the other thing that they're very strict on is any event can only have one charitable collection. So if there is another charity collecting, say like a bonfire night, when the people collect, no one else can have a permit, it's one at a time.
Okay. The other part of my question would be, would it be, so Roundtable and Rotary are charities in their own right, but they collect and then they distribute the money to other charities. So would it be worthwhile looking at setting up a charity called Buckingham Mayor's Charity in order to, no, okay then. It's just a thought.
I think
Mayor.
I think it would be probably less work to try and apply for a license every single week and try to do that. You'd have to have permanent trustees and everything. I don't think we want to go there. It is, of course, very disappointing that this is what we have to do, that these are the hoops we have to jump through. And as the current mayor, I feel slightly, aggrieved by this, and the next mayor will now no doubt be feeling equally aggrieved. Thank you very much for looking into this, and let's hope they give us the permit for the 28th of November, because the trouble is, or my fear is, of course, that this could take quite a long time, so we probably generally need to apply quite early, and we might very well get the answer about 2 days before the event happens. I think we need to be braced for that possibility.
John, and then
Forgive me if I've missed this, but have Beyond Calc or now been consulted on this, because we're not alone in doing this. Plenty of other parishes and town councils have charitable collections, as it were, at their events. And are they all not being compliant with the law in the way that we have not been so in the past? And do BM Calc can these or now can be licensed? Have you checked that out, sir?
I haven't. I've gone directly to licensing and the policy that they hold, because they're ultimately the people that would grant us the permit.
But there might be a wheeze.
Called the chairman of Buckingham County Council. They have charity events, and the chairman of Buckinghamshire Council has charity events on regular. I presume that they're having to apply for a licence for any one of their dues, the same as our mayor.
You would assume
that that's something worth asking in another place, I think, because they must be equal. The law must be equal. I'll take these now to match you, Lucy.
Thank you. Does it state that we have to apply, say, like 30 days before an event, or can we knowing what events we would like to collect for the mayor's charities for, do a blanket at the start of a year to say these are the events that we know we're running, and the letter will cover all of them presumably. Because my fear is if there's no like date saying you have to do it 30 days before, whatever, another charity could zip in and collect, and we wouldn't know about it until we got a refusal letter from licensing to say, sorry, this has already been granted to X, Y, or Z charity. So could we do it at the start of the year?
They haven't said we can't do that, but we
Good,
have
yeah.
to be really, I mean, I've got the emails, they couldn't be any clearer. It is for cultural, festive and national campaigns only. And if you're looking for anything else, and that's, if we were outside of that and were able to do it freely, you would need to do a different charity every time. So that they're also given an exemption that we use the same two charities with, or however many mayor's charities there are. So that they also say when you apply for it without any restrictions, you're a charity applying directly. So say I was the food bank or whatever, I could only do one every quarter. So they're really quite strict on that as well.
So we are limited then?
We're incredibly limited.
Because we know what, sorry Chairman, but we do know whether our events are cultural or whatever at the start about when we plan them. We could.
But it isn't our decision as to, it's they make the decision as whether it is a cultural festival or a national campaign.
Wow.
We don't make that decision. We make the application and they then say whether it's granted or not.
I would still like to test out whether we could do a blanket. These are the events. Now let us know which ones that where we can collect for. So we just do all of them that we know we're running.
The town clerk wants to say something, and I've got Lucy and I've got Andy to come back.
The point 4.3 are very clear statements that we believe the Christmas light switch on is the only thing that we have that would fulfil the criteria. Bonfire and fireworks, but we have that agreement and they come and help us and they and the exchange they get to collect. Otherwise, we are struggling to find any others that would count as a cultural day or a festive day.
But it's not our decision whether it's counted, it's their decision, so we could still apply it.
Well, they are now culturally gardening.
It doesn't fit within their criteria in any way, shape or form.
Right, I'm gonna
Yeah, sorry, Chairman.
Which is the problem.
I think we're going to discuss that. I've got Lucy, Andy, and then I'm coming back over here.
A few points. One, I've taken on what John was saying about other places do it, but I would note that this policy was only adopted on the 5th of September last year and was only enforced from the 1st of April, funny enough, this year. So any events prior to the 1st of April of this year would not have fallen under that policy. Secondly, I think Lisa's idea was a good one because I'm sure that licensing would be much happier to deal with everything in one email rather than kind of, well, I don't think that's a foregone conclusion. And I do think it's worth, because have they given much idea about what they would class as a cultural event? Because in my view, anything that's music related is cultural.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the arts.
Yeah.
And I think, you know,
the answers they've given is we can make the application and they will make the decision.
if you don't ask, you don't get.
That's exactly my point.
So that they've left it open, but it was very much, and I've actually got the emails here, I can read them if you wish me to, but it's very much, they make the decision on the
Let's be clear,
application.
we're disagreeing with the policy, not what we're being told.
Yeah.
And let's be clear about that. Andy.
Just a bit of clarification. We talk about collecting for a charity. Is that different from donating to an event to a charity, but not charity in a name? Donating, for example, just call it a mayor's charity or the mayor's event.
We're talking about
Donation.
donations. This is about
You can still have a donation on the street, but is it collecting or donating?
It's a street collection policy.
Because the reason I say that is because the
asking.
Buckingham table, when they give out the lights and things, they ask for a donation. Which is that collecting for a charity or is that something different? we need clarification on something like that.
think we've got two problems here. One is if I'm reading it correctly, one is we've got to do this. Two is we disagree with it. And thirdly, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever because it isn't actually rational cultural difference. It's another case of one size fits all decided in the room somewhere and doesn't recognise what's been going on in the community. So I think we have no other option than to comply, but I think we can put something forward here that we need to carry this discussion on, because I think that it's marginally uncharitable to treat the mayor and her charities in the way that's been going, and we defend the mayor, whoever he or they are, we defend the mayor and their charities, and we have passed motions in this council and agreed that we would support and collect every event of this council which can be checked for the mayor's charity, because I know in my period, many years ago now, we had no support for the mayor and it relied totally on your whatever, and we changed that to purposely support our mayors thereafter to be able to have support from the council to be able to raise money for charities. So we didn't have to do standalone events. So I'd like to propose that we, in agreeing the recommendation, we then return back to discussion about what we wish to first agree the recommendation, and then we will return back to discussion at that point what we wish to do thereafter. Is that agreed?
Yeah.
Right, so we agree the recommendations, all those favour recommendation. Right, and now the floor is open to discussion on how we move forward from this, because it's not satisfactory.
Can I just, in point 4.3, it says currently the Rotary Club collects on fireworks. I believe that's Buckingham table. It's not a Rotary Club, not a Rotary. So can we have that corrected?
That would be my error, right? That's
all right.
information I gathered.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right, so I'll throw it open from the chair to start with. I think that we need to ask them to a discussion around whether their licensing policy is recognition of local culture and whether it recognises local custom and practice, which it clearly doesn't. And also we need to ask the additional question, is their own charity for the chairman bound by this, in which case the chairman won't be able to have any events from now on till the end of the calendar year, I would imagine, unless they're going to apply for a licence. Lisa and then Andy.
Thank you. I would just like to put my suggestion on the table that we try applying for those events that we can say fall under the remit and see what ones they reject. Just so that if it is allowed, we know in advance these are the ones that we can collect at, and at least then another charity can't get an application in before we can. Because as you said, rightly said, that we support the mayor's charities, and I think that's very important.
I think that's it. Are we happy to? I second that. We'll agree that proposal as one proposal. Is that agreed?
Yep.
Right. Next action, we'll do it that way. Andy.
Right, thank you. 4.3, just going back to the Rotary Club and the Buckingham table. They do not, how do you define this? They don't ask for money. They give you, for example, an item, and they ask for a donation. Now, is that a charitable collection?
They had to have a permit for that, and I know that for a fact because I checked whether we could have collected at Bonfire Night as well, and I was told they already had the permit to collect.
They are, bless them. Good of Alex.
Right.
So yes, if that's any question.
Okay. Lucy.
Yeah, just again, what Andy was saying, I was having a look at the appendix for the street collection regulations.
Bit dull, isn't it?
It's really boring, and yeah, they quite sorry, my brains are working, but they cover all bases in terms of collection means a collection of money or a sale of articles for the benefit of charitable or other purposes, and the word collector should be construed accordingly. So they've thought of a loophole, Andy, I'm afraid, and they've covered themselves. Would it be worth I don't know, maybe in a future meeting discussing how this policy, depending on the answer we get back from writing all of our applications in one go, if it's a positive response, then we might not need to kind of make more of a fuss about it. However, if we're getting a lot of kickback from licensing and they're kind of turning down everything except Christmas lights, potentially then discussing writing a letter to the council and say, look, this is having a really big negative impact on our ability to fundraise for local charities.
Correct. Come to Councillor Bowser, can I come from there?
I'm just looking at this policy, and it worries me in relation to the Christmas parade. Because 3.8 says meaning collections such as carnival processions and other similar events involving the collection of donations from the public along the route and requires a street collection permit. But that means that the schools, the firefighters, the St John's ambulance, the cadets and whoever else, they're not going to be able to collect individually as they do or have done previously, if they'll only allow one permit for one charity on one day.
You've got to remember, they have said there could be waivers on application for festive and cultural events. So it would be about making that application.
But we can't.
But we can't speak for what they would do.
We can't speak for them. I go to Annie, I see John's probably got something he wants to say quite urgently. Annie.
This may be a completely stupid question, but does that apply for when a collection happens indoors?
No.
It does not.
No.
So the mermaking, for example, would not be covered. If we decided to have a collection of one of our other events indoors, that wouldn't be a problem.
It's just
Only if it's outdoors.
Yeah.
But the park is included in that. That's a street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Set up a collection shed.
That's a shame.
I was thinking, John.
I go back, I still think it's worth contacting BMCal, because we cannot be the only ones who experience this. We've been the ones perhaps to discover the challenges that the current policy has. Maybe others have discovered it too and found a nice little breeze around it. We need to find out.
Is that a proposal?
Well, yeah, of course.
And I'll second it.
Those in favour of that?
Intel from there.
Right. I think that's two actions we've agreed. I'd like to propose another action is that if this turns out to be as an affront to how we lived for a long time, we end with a press release around Alfred being Oliver Cromwell and us being Cavaliers and Oliver Cromwell's rights again. Alfred takes away our rights, joys. See, it was Charles II who brought back the right to dance and give joys in the street. It was Cromwell who took it away, and they seem to be returning back to the old ways of Oliver Cromwell. So I think that would be something we could. I think we need to find some costumes to do at the time for the press release. I mean,
Can we do a reenactment?
we could do a reenactment, can't we?
Film it for the press release.
the dogs.
Yeah.
I think we can muster that.
We could sword fight with our litter pickers again.
We could sort of like, no, I think that I'd like to propose that my proposal is that once we've found this out, we agree to discuss as a committee what the appropriate press release will be at this meeting now, that we will be making the press release based upon what we find out.
And in line with the press release policy, obviously.
And of course, with the line of the press, it doesn't stop one going off into tangent, of course, but outside I might find it in another place even more grievous than I do here. But I think we'll do that in line with the press policy, and we'll bring that back. And I think if that's necessary, and I know John's hands up again, is it something additional to that, John?
I think this is national charity law. I don't think this is local. I think it's.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. I don't think there's.
I think that's another proposal that we need to find out if it's national charity law or if it's Buckinghamshire charity law. I think that's a reasonable proposal. That's a proposal to find that out, John. I'll easily second.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would be part of the context.
Yeah.
Second that, those in favour of finding that out.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to my proposal, which hasn't been seconded, that we agree to, once we found out there's evidence, to make a press release.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Seconded by Lucy and before Perda, clearly. And not to be timed out in our actions. So that would be agreed. All those in favour of that? Thank you. Very sorry, but can I thank you,
Yeah,
those
so.
the work on it. We don't agree with it, as you can tell, but we're not, no problem with the work you've done on it. There's nothing personal, we just,
Not my words.
it's not your word. You're just,
We won't do
you're
messenger.
just doing your diligent job and informing us about the
Legalities, yeah.
realities that we're being forced into.
Yeah.
I've never really liked being forced into doing anything. Right, item 10, members, forthcoming events, Holocaust Memorial. Is there anything to say on that from the point of view? Are you?
No, this is Nina's,
Nina's.
Nina's baby, yeah.
So we note it,
Do we,
Yeah.
happy to know?
Noted.
Yeah.
And note our thanks to Nina for the work she's doing on it.
Yeah.
In which case it comes back to, this is community fair, this is yours, isn't it?
Sorry, can I, before we move on, Chair, I'd like it noted that I'm disappointed that the MP is not going to be there. I appreciate there may be other events, but this is his local constituency and we are the only Holocaust memorial in his constituency, and I'm saddened that he's not going to be there.
Well, as you're willing to know that, but I don't think the event was designed around when it was originally envisaged. We had it as an open event for anyone to come. We did have lots of
Express of you, it's a Friday.
Yeah.
Parliament is not sitting on a Friday,
Well,
you know?
in which case, you know, we can note that you personally, whether it's a joint committee, that you personally disappointed. We can note that in the minutes. No problem with that.
How many times did we just have to come?
Every time.
Every time.
Right, yeah. That was
You
an
did.
honest question, I just didn't know.
No, okay. Yes, he did.
In this particular case, there were other things he didn't come to.
We don't know.
And that our current MP has already been to, so it's not.
It's not, you know, we can go down that one, but I don't think it was set up to be a political event. It was,
No, just.
it was Councillor Neil's idea was to try and do something positive, so let's move on.
May I just say, Joe, we didn't know that we were going to clash with the Westminster service. We do it at the time, it was the best for the kids.
Of course.
In which case, that's where it is. I'm sure there's another 4 years to make amends on. So let's move that on. So we're happy to note that report. We noted that. We're moving back on to the other one. We went back over it, which we didn't need to do, but we did. And which is now we're moving on to the community fair, which is Overton. Yeah.
Everything's on track. There's, I think, about 20 stallholders provisionally booked in. Outside, I will have a couple of stalls, a hot chestnut stall outside, and some and Grace Notes will be singing and raising charity. And they will collect their license, their permit license as well. But yeah, no, everything's in order. There's some money in the budget to buy some banners, so they've been ordered, so we can get those up and they're reusable as well for future events. Yeah, no, everything is in order.
Thank you.
Well done, Sam.
Thank you very much, Sam.
Thank you.
It's really good
Noted.
that you actually thought through making sure these stuff can be used at future events. We have made mistakes in the past with events where we've dated and coloured it and then we can't use any of it. Not yourself, but we have done it as a council in the past. So
Years ago.
Years ago, and I think it's good policy, and thank you for being aware of all that. It's everything we use doesn't waste anything then, does it? John?
Well, obviously I declare an interest, but it's not pecuniary interest, because all the profits will be donated to the mayor's charity.
Have you got a licence?
No,
Don't you walk back, John? Okay.
And I think that, profits from the sale of the book, that whoever wants to buy it, like with Catherine, will be donated to the mayor's charities.
Very good of you, John.
3 minutes.
It's very good of you, thank you.
To the mayor's charities, is that agreed?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I haven't sold them yet.
No,
The hundreds of copies that you will be selling at this event.
At this rate, it's going to be the only money we're going to get for the mayor.
Yeah.
Stop us getting anything else. We're all relying on you to raise a fortune, John. Okay.
I would point out that Catherine's been living away.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I know, we're joking.
Yeah.
We also mean it thanks to Catherine for
Absolutely.
every year she makes a donation to Mayor Jarrett for the meeting.
Yes, we
Yeah.
had some other not insubstantial donations last year as well from other outside
Yeah,
organisations.
which is good.
Mm.
It's all necessary and whatever. So are we happy with that report?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good, Sam.
You got anything to say? Go on.
No,
Don't
just
feel-
listening away.
Don't feel you can't join in the conversation.
No, that's fine, that's
You
fine.
know, because
Yeah.
you're going to stop hearing the rest of us saying anything, and this is about events, and I know you're interested in it, so
Yeah.
if anybody do say what you think.
So,
We're only pleased to hear. Right, which brings us on to, we've agreed that report, better go answer that, haven't we? Right, yeah, agreed that report.
I'm abstaining because I'm.
So, yeah, we know that John declared an interest and abstained, not that he's against
I
it.
don't think he's got an interest.
He hasn't got an interest
It's
at
not
all.
pecuniary, but
Yeah.
he's just, yeah.
Just being a gentleman, aren't you, John?
I mean,
I don't think it.
It's okay.
It must be declared free
We're not going to discuss why you declared, we understand. Right, we're going back to 8.3, which is small business Saturday, which is 12, which is Sam's again.
Sam's on that.
Sam's on a roll tonight.
So Small Business Saturday this year is on the 7th of December. It's always on the first Saturday of December, and it's a national campaign to highlight our local small businesses. So last year I organised a few activities to try and encourage footfall into town and support business in town on the day. This year I want to do the same, and hopefully there will be a children's choir that will perform outside the old jail, creating a bit of an atmosphere. I hope to book a meet and greet character, so that draw lots of families into, and hopefully organise a big rock hunt, and get some lots of those. So anybody can go and find one and potentially win something as well from that local business, and some kind of incentive and prize draw incentive as well. Last year we did like a little trail shopper's passport thing.
Oh, yeah.
But we might this time just encourage people to bring their receipts up to the Tourist Information Centre, and then we can enter them in there, which also brings people up into the right. Yeah.
Thank you. Lucy was first.
Yeah, I really love that prize draw idea. And you actually answered my question. I was going to ask if the rock hunt is open to all ages.
Do we know whether this happens to be one of the Saturdays where Buckinghamshire Council have decided to waive the car parking fees
Unfortunately
for?
not, it should be, but no.
Oh,
It's the last, I think it's the second and third Saturday, I believe.
Mayor's just basically asked what I wanted to, but I also thought that maybe we could do some sort of initiative to ask people to walk down into town.
Yeah.
If they're local, which many are.
Yeah, would that, it's not unreasonable, is it, to sort of make a look at the rocks while they're walking down into town, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think walking into town is it's possible for most of Buckingham.
Don't look at me.
No, we do try, all
Yeah.
of the events, we try and encourage to walk to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it could be encouraged to walk to Buckingham Town Centre.
And save themselves £1.70.
Save themselves £1.70, which they could spend on the event.
well, it's a Saturday, so it'd only be 70p.
Oh, okay.
Well, it'd only be 70p. Sunday it'd be £1.70, wouldn't it? To pray, only £1.70 to pray, but
Slightly off topic, but just because Anna raised about parking, I remember seeing something from last December. I might have made this up, but I'm sure I saw it, that Buckingham University opened the car park of the football field on Ford Street for the whole of Buckingham for free parking for the whole of December or for 2 weeks in December. Is that?
You're right, I think.
We are in discussions, watch this space, we expect it to happen, but we will finalise the details with the university before we put out any.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
Thank you, can I ask?
I'm going to put that as we're finalising the details on the
Yeah.
final
Can
contract.
I ask that you inform the committee if that is the case, because we will,
Yeah, just something later.
so we know.
Yeah.
Not, so that we are aware of it before we get told by some other people that they're aware of it, so the committee know. If you see what I
Other
mean.
people are aware of it because they've been helping us make this happen, so.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's been discussed at Pontio.
Yeah, well, that's perfectly appropriate, yeah. I can imagine that that's probably where it came from, am I right, John, in the first place, last year, when it came through those discussions, did it?
Bandjam came about from earlier discussions with the previous Vice Chancellor, yeah.
Yeah,
And ongoing stuff was
Yeah.
raised on the last agenda.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't think it's really positive that we're doing this for the business. I think it's really positive all the work Sam's doing. Fits in with ever expanding job description. Which just seems to get what she does.
Which is appreciated.
Which is absolutely appreciated. And I think that we agreed that we'll hold fire hoping to get the information to be agreed on the university parking. If that is, we'll include it in a future press release around this to promote the fact that we're doing so for the trade centre in Buckingham. Is that agreed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, John?
I was going to say, can I add to the press release that we encourage people, as Sam was suggesting, to walk into town.
Yeah.
To walk into town and save money.
Yeah.
Don't give it to the China Council, give it to local business instead.
Yeah.
Some sort of line
Yeah, I
around
think
that.
actually, I think it's a really good idea. But
Yeah,
we'll include that.
It's a bit of a mixed message, part for free at Ford Meadow, but walk in and.
Well,
Maybe two separate.
Well, we won't know, but we could say, we could find some wording around it, which would cover all aspects.
If you're able to walk in.
And also, if you live further away, coming from the villages.
Save the free parking at Ford Meadow for those less able or the ones that live further away.
I'm grateful for repeating and adding it to it, because she looked straight at me and now that I'm the least walkable person.
I didn't know that, Robin.
I'm not going to claim that I walk in, I'm not going to be a hypocrite, I'm a bit afraid of walking inside.
Afraid of walking.
All right, you're a bit lazy. We'll accept that. Okay.
It just takes you too long to get anywhere because you stop and chat to
Well, that's
everyone.
one of the reasons. If I would never get anywhere, it would take me hours.
We agreed the recommendation, Chairman.
Yeah, we agreed, all those in favour?
Yeah.
Thank you, and press release thereafter, that's agreed in the same.
Yeah.
Right, in which case we move swiftly on to Christmas parade, which is on here, which we've discussed some of the issues earlier with the Christmas parade. Are members happy to know that report and accept that report? Is that agreed?
Yep.
Thanks for the work on it.
Yeah, thanks for the work on it.
What's the theme this year?
Games.
Games. Or charity collections, whichever.
Why do we say that? Well, no, we're not collecting for charity. It's a coin toss game. Yeah. If you manage to throw the coin in the bucket, you win a prize of good karma.
I think that's a very good idea. Can we suggest that the committee, if there's an issue, break committee?
Running street games and gambling and all those sorts of things on.
But you think we might?
It's a game of chance.
It's a game of chance, it's not game.
So what happens? What about fountains?
Game of chance, it's a game of skill.
Yeah.
What about fountains?
What about fountains where people throw money in and it gets collected?
Well, that's not an organised thing, is it? It's not somebody with a bucket.
Can we set up a fountain and
The art sculpture.
Yeah.
£4 grand, will that make a wishing well?
So I think we're going to ban.
Much as we're having fun, may I suggest we move on to the next agenda?
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
This is the best speaking who got up at 2:30 this morning.
No,
It hasn't slept since.
no, right, thank you. Right, anyway, we've agreed that report, and we move on to 12, which is forthcoming events.
No, it's
Halloween
calendar.
disco, which is
Okay.
events review, I mean. Halloween disco, thank you for that. Bonfire, Andy.
Oh, yes, the reports I'm getting was very successful. People enjoyed it. Somebody gave me a figure that they thought it was about 3,000 people. And my personal thanks to Sam for making it possible, the hard work that she put into the bonfire and firework being the first time she's done it. It went well. Thank you very much.
They've all
The
been
only
first, but Sam, they've all been first.
there's only one comment that was made and repeatedly made. It's about toilets, and we said we would look into it for the next bonfire and fireworks.
Yeah.
And thank Lucy for taking over next year.
Just we skipped over the proposed events calendar.
Noted.
Noted, we'll go back to that.
Yeah.
We'll go back to 11.
Okay. And I just want to say thanks very much to Sam and Andy for teaching me all about fireworks, and
Yeah, I think it was a good evening.
I think it was fantastic. And
Well,
again, we had enough of it positive.
we go back to Councillor Davis and then Councillor Harvey.
And the bonfire and fireworks was fabulous. I really enjoyed it. I thought the atmosphere was great. I thought the DJ Dan Blaze massively added to the whole environment, the whole ambience and everything he was taking. Doing birthday shout outs and requests and everything, really interacting with people. It was just great. The fireworks were brilliant. The fire was great. Robin nearly set fire to the back of my head, but that's another thing anyway. Allegedly.
I mean, it is on film.
It's on film. It's all right because I moved out of the way in time. But yeah, brilliant, really good.
We need an image.
No, not at all, no.
Bring that in a public meeting. Get down my reputation. We come back to Lee, and then we'll go.
John was about.
Yeah, so I think it was a great event, so well done to Sam in organising and everybody else as in the report. I've got one change I would propose, and it may not be agreeable, but I personally, when the fireworks go off, in between the explosions, I like silence. I don't want to have a DJ track playing at that particular moment.
Yeah.
I didn't like the fact the DJ carried on playing music all the way through the fireworks. Now, that may just be me, but for me, part of the pleasure of fireworks is the silence between the bangs, not another track of some pop song in between. So that would be my proposal, that we ask the DJ to suspend the music during the actual fireworks play. Other than that, it was great. I had no problems with what he was doing. I think he was interacting well, as has been said already this evening. But my proposal is that we don't have the music during the fireworks.
I'll come to Lisa, I'll come to Councillor.
Thank you. I just wanted to have it minuted that we are just giving thanks to Andy for the years that he's been the lead councillor on organising it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Can we vote?
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Very difficult.
Sorry for making you blush.
And now I'll go to the town clerk. The report wasn't for you to speak, town clerk, it was just
The decision to have music was made by committee about 4 years ago. Committee said they wanted to have music playing while the fireworks was on, which is why.
It's 4 years ago.
I think,
So it wasn't.
Maybe
It wasn't Dan's decision.
No, I know, but it's struck, well, yeah, the music we had before was from Councillor Tribe, bless his got the socks, and a different kind of music, whereas this was much louder and much more pervasive.
well, can I propose a compromise that we discuss it again? and come up with something that we would feel appropriate to play with. I actually quite like something in the background. It covers up lots of other things, and it is changed from nursery rhymes.
1812 Tchaikovsky then.
The titanium one, I think, is the signature to the company.
It's the name of the company, it's the name of the fireworks company.
Cute.
Ravina, sorry.
Are we going to steadily make a move away from fireworks and onto a drone display? And also, then we could have like a massive silent disco.
Why don't we just, I think that's a proposal that's not on the agenda. If you want to make a proposal to that effect, that's a separate item and council has to consider it. There are views out there. It's been quite a cultural tradition for some reason to do it, but I think there's not stopping you putting that proposal forward at a future meeting. If that's how you think we should be moving, and we can discuss the value of it rather than give a clip. I don't agree or something. We can have a proper discussion about it. And you know, I think that's a sensible thing.
Yeah, I will look into it because I know certain councils have started doing them.
Certain councils don't do any at all. Don't do anything at all. So I mean, there is an happy medium. But if you're happy to do that, we'll take it at a future time, and I'll come to Andy, and then I'll go back to.
Okay, thank you. Just I've got to add that the Sunday when we do the clear up, we had 11 people there, 3 councillors and Sam, and the rest from the Buckingham table, and we were able to do the clear up in about an hour's time. Which was good. Yes, which is good. Normally it would take us a couple of hours, and we did it pretty quickly. So my thanks to Buckingham table and the councillors and to Sam. Thank you very much.
Lucy.
2 things. One, Andy's just reminded me. This might be something I have to put in an email about getting some better litter pickers for specifically for TC and events.
Well, we had our own, but they were
purloined. And if there is room in the budget, could we maybe get some decent litter pickers again, but have them marked up for Buckingham Council?
Lucy, I marked them up personally.
Yeah, TC. They were loaned and not given back, apparently. We've got the rubbish ones.
Still in my garage.
Look into that because there's definitely a load of the lift.
Yeah, they're
we bought them out of environments.
Yeah.
We bought them out of environments, Town Clerk. We borrowed some money some years ago to be able to purchase pickers. I know they got them.
Let me have a. We don't need to go. I'll have a look and see where.
Yeah, and the second thing I was just going to say, just as an additional comment, obviously I know we're going to discuss it at a later date, but I think for a lot of people with sensory issues, it's helpful to not have that sudden juxtaposition of silence and noise. And I think a lot of younger children are able to better cope with the loud bangs of fireworks when there's already that bit of background. Not a point to discuss, just an additional point for thought.
Is it something additional to what we've said, or?
It is.
Yeah.
I just wanted to comment on the fact that we don't have, I don't think, we used to hear what Andy says, and whoever was there on the clear up day, that we don't have the problem with sparklers anymore.
No sparklers.
No, we never have.
People still insist on bringing us with sparklers, even when we said don't. But now that message has got through, we don't anymore, which is great.
I mean,
first year we had no sparklers.
Are we happy to put it in our thanks to the table for coming?
Yeah, of course.
And I think it is a great sporting activity. You can get fencing done with litter pickers and things while you're doing it. It was a fun morning actually. Anyone wants to come, and Andy always led on it, and Will and led on it. And one of the things you do find is how good people in Buckingham are, because you come to the event and you think you're going to find lots of things, and they've picked it up and taken it home and put it in a bin, which shows a real good understanding of where they are and what they're doing. And I think, to be honest, that affects on the type of people who come to the event, really. So we have to agree those 2 things. Note the report. If there's anything additional, come to a future meeting.
Yeah.
That agree?
Yeah.
Sure, because it's the donation of money. Can we have a formal vote on that? Sorry.
Okay. A formal vote on the donation. Money. Agree? Right,
Thank you.
thank you. Where have we got? Now we're going to go back to item 11, which is the calendar of events.
Noted.
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 Sorry, just one thing I was gonna ask with the calendar of events, will we be flying the Pride flag for the whole of Pride Month this year again?
Yes,
That's what we decided.
That's
So-
Yeah, yeah,
No, that only is decided for 1 year.
I was just confirming that it was gonna be the same again.
Did we only decide it for 1 year? No.
It was for last,
Don't think
Yeah.
we did.
no, we didn't say for forever and a day.
Oh.
We've got enough time to actually discuss that. Can I propose that we bring it
I
back
will double check.
and bring it back to the next meeting?
Flags.
As it's been asked and
Flags.
we have to discuss it again if he's right and
I will double check them in the chair.
I was in flying flag which gets difficult. So can we bring that back to the next meeting if as it's been raised?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't think it belonged to TC&E that one. I think the full council it was on that, but I will double check.
Yeah.
Okay, in which case, can we take note of the comments raised and bring it to the full council with a note to what it is at the
If
appropriate
there's
time?
any ambiguity, my recollection is the minute is pretty clear.
No, I must admit,
Yeah, thank you.
I'm not going to disagree with Andy because he might be absolutely right but I don't recall whether it's for a year or not. So let's just get some clarity. One thing I will say, this show what an active and vibrant town we are with the list of events. Can I propose that in the new year, because this is next year's list of events, that we propose that we do a press release on the list of
Yeah,
events?
you've already done that.
Have I? I haven't done the press release yet. I know that's why I said it, because the press release hasn't gone out, and I think it's important that we promote them. Oh, that's good. It's good that you remember.
It's in the calendar for January.
Okay, thank you. Just didn't like to let these things slip by, as it is. But anyway, joking aside. Right, in which case we didn't get down to Christmas card competition, which is the next one. Anything to say on that apart from noting that and hoping you can promote themselves even more?
We've got some lovely designs and I hope you will all enjoy them and no doubt all 200 cards will be sold. So feel free to aid in that.
Have we, I've seen it on social media, but have we done what promotion of that have we done?
It's gone out today.
It's gone out there, thank you, that's all what I know.
Press release and social media.
That's good, just to make sure that we don't miss the opportunity of getting Christmas. Mind you, posting them is more expensive than buying the cards now, isn't it?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, £1.75 first class.
£1.75 is more
First class.
expensive than a card now.
I'm hoping to pick the printed cards up tomorrow. I'm waiting for BCT to confirm.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
And everyone will be making a contribution to GPO profits by sending them.
And can we thank BCQ Solutions for sponsoring the event?
Yeah, is that agreed?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, seconded by Councillor Davis, agreed, Councillor Right, we'll move on to.
Oh, sorry. Chair, just about the calendar of events. I've been alerted that the annual town meeting clashes with one of the great fire events.
Well, in which case, can we?
I think that needs to be discussed. It's not on the agenda, but.
No, but can
discuss.
we allow we'll go, I'd be really silly that we clap of an event if we could just move it one way or another, wouldn't it?
Could we ask the town clerk to look at that?
Yeah, please, because that's.
On the annual town meeting, so because we need to squeeze it, it has to be in March and it has to be before further.
In which case, can we just ask the town clerk to look at it, and come back to us and let us know if there's time?
We've got the 10th to the 16th of the dates for both of them.
Where did you get that message on your phone?
Yes, I have somebody who looks at our meetings and gives me views and help.
Hi.
Hello, John Strand.
Active member of our local community.
Oh.
We're regularly in touch.
I've spotted a typo.
Have you?
Yeah, they spelled Christmas parade wrong on the calendar.
Well, I wouldn't know.
Yeah,
Excellent.
thank you.
Where's Margaret when you need her?
Where's Margaret?
I'm filling in as best as I can.
Yeah, Margaret,
I'm not as eagle-eyed as she is.
Miss Margaret's correction of our grammar, English and behaviour. Right, so we've agreed that, and we know that we're going to ask the town clerk to go away and look for that. We moved back on, and we were on actually item 13, which is action lists. Everyone can open out the action list and see where we are on that. Please, any comments, concerns, things we need to actually discuss on the action list and things that are ongoing? The chance to actually, street foods we set, we've got 4, that's progressing for next year. Business economy, that says it's a waiting response. Chase,
Chair.
yeah, sorry.
So, number 7 on there, the but town council facilities review to check if standards set by Colostomy UK are met. Oh, it says refer to environment committee for discussion.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they don't, because I checked it all out.
Yeah, but pardon, what was that you said?
The public toilets don't meet the standards set by Colostomy UK, but I've just read on that it says refer to environment committee, so
Okay, we'll take that. Rebina.
Just another error at the number 1 youth council action required best approach for 2022.
Oh, right. So we're in
Is that because it's been on the,
well,
on the
that
action
actually,
for that long?
yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Rebina, would you be happy to propose if the action list has been along, we bring it back to a future committee? You'd be happy to discuss what we do with it, because if it's been sat there that long, unresolved.
I think we have to remember the staffing in the office.
I know, but we still need to make a decision. We can't make a decision about it.
Yeah.
Would you be happy to propose that we?
Fine, yeah, I'll propose that.
Because I think you make a good point. 2022 to 2024 is a long time. There will be a reason behind that, in which we can read the report and make a decision. Fran?
Well, the update says about the community cafes and Chantry Chapel and the Central Verney Close.
But that's nothing to do with it, isn't it?
Well, it is.
So it's been updated,
Yeah,
it's just,
Yeah,
it's
but-
almost like a rolling.
it is. It's ongoing.
So you think we're happy with it to roll through there and just not to bring it back to have a discussion about where we take it forward? Because originally we were going to have a youth council, which is the start of it. The youth cafe was not a youth council, it was a decision taken which officers and the council supported. It's nothing to do with the original minute number.
But
That's where I was going.
It does say the project will be run with Buckinghamshire Council. So it's obviously, we're not running it with Buckinghamshire Council in that case, are we?
Well, would it be town clerk?
So one of the ways that we were struggling to generate, and this has been going on for a long time, so I certainly agree with that, we were struggling to generate much interest. So one of the things that happened is that the Shire Council were looking at a survey of young people, as it says, about youth space and youth council, which is why this stuff has been added into it.
I'm not saying do it straight away, but Rebina's raised the point quite rightly that it's been on there since 2022. I think.
It looks like it's been there since 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that it would be appropriate to bring back a report of where we are based on what we've done and said, to make, if we wish to make a decision different to the original proposal in 2019, which we can't say it now, but the report might draw us to a conclusion. Would that be, I'm happy to second Rebina if she's willing to propose that.
Yeah.
Right, so all those in favour? Get some clarity on it, where we're going to go. Because it's sort of filling in other people's work, isn't it, in some ways? Is there anything else on there? On the action list? You happy with it, everybody?
Yeah.
Note that, thank you. Item 14, which is climate action plan, are we happy? Note that.
Yeah. Noted.
Thank you very, very much. With that, I'll close this public meeting. I won't give any chairman's items out Only just to say that I will be emailing you after the meeting, with, an update on the Great Fire of Buckingham.
It's gone now.
All right, I haven't seen the email, I apologise yet. Can you please read that, because it's like I wanted you all to know where he was on it. Just for, as chairman, as I did get to do 3 bits of filming with them at the weekend, and I was impressed how well they'd actually got it all planned out. So that'd be very interesting to see how it all comes out. Obviously, anyone who's done any filming knows that it'll only be 80 of what you've actually done, but if the quality of the questions they were asking looked really good. So we'll look really come. Ravina.
Sorry, just one small point. It says date of next meeting, 19th of February, which is a Wednesday.
Is that correct?
I need to check.
Thank you for that. I've got a, is it a Wednesday?
Yeah, so I imagine it should be the 17th rather than the 19th.
Yeah, we never meet on a Wednesday.
My computer's on a go, so at the moment, just bear with.
Should be the 17th.
It's got to be the 17th, isn't it?
Apologies, Mr. Typo. Fix it.
Thank you, Ravina.
Good spot.
Well spot, Margaret will be proud of you.
And we can give you no higher praise.
I feel honoured. I did see her earlier on this day, so maybe something.
You're channeling back.
If you've watched this, I'd be encouraged to come again. Enjoy it. Well,
10.
10. That sounds okay then.
10.
Yeah, thank you for that, Paula. And thank you, Paula, for all you do. Right, press releases, we basically agreed in the meeting, and town clerk says that whatever I wanted is all being done, which is marvellous. And in which case, we've done that. Date of next meeting will be the 10th. Now we know when it is. And I move, close this public meeting, move into private session, please.
Agreed.
Agreed.